So they marked me. They marked me with this. But I have to tell these stories to the next generation because there are millions and millions who cannot tell their stories. I like to open my eyes in my bedroom in the morning and having in front of me a tableau of my family. On both sides, my families, they were long ago what is called assimilated, so everybody was Hungarian. And that was just normal. Before the war, that was a middle class, liberal, normal life. And as I told you, everything changed. I was the ardent little patriot. And then, at once, they said, I am not Hungarian. I was very much felt offended. Me? They do not know Arany János, Vörösmarty Mihály, and the other great Hungarian poets by heart as I do. I felt offended, then got very angry. They are mine. I know them, I love them, I appreciate, understand. Nazi invasion. When exactly 11 and a half years old, at the time of the Hungarian Aerocross coup, that was when I understood that now the question for us is to die. I don't exactly remember, late April, no, May. We were chased from our flat, which, as I told you, middle class, modest as such flat. We had to go to something that was called the Starred House, and Jews were to live there. So we were in a flat, the 7 of us in 2.5 rooms. Then it was quite good at the time. Perhaps adventure is not the best word, but how to call. There were adventures when we were with the false document in the flat of pretended relatives. An uncle of mine who really was partly non-Jewish, he bought these birth certificates in June, perhaps in May, I don't know. He was ready to pay for it. And then that clergyman, or don't know who he was, he said, what can you offer? So, for example, my I want to say that word, gramophone, was, for example, in the price, and many other things of my parents. I remember my gramophone and my bicycle. I knew very, very well how to lie, how to put on the mask of the little girl who does not understand. Later I understood why I always had my doll with me, always. Because I had to prove to myself and to everybody, I'm a little girl. Let me in peace, I'm a little girl. I'm not interested. I play with my... No. So there we lived under false names, and that was December, some days before Christmas, 44. And then, of course, parents told me not to go out of the shelter. There was a siege of Budapest. I wanted to see what happens in the courtyard of the house. When there was some peculiar bad noises what I heard, and very some close, some meters in front of me, maybe 5, 6 or so meters, these arrow cross people, 3 of them, and the family, father, mother, a daughter a bit older than I was at the time, say 13, 14 years old child, she had to be, and a younger boy, say 7, 8. With one shot, they killed them in front of my eyes, and it was higher than the little boy's head. So he stood for a longer moment still there, while the family members were already in blood on the ground. And thinking back, not only when I speak about it, very often in my life, in the last 70 years, very often, 100,000 times, I think that I hope that perhaps it was my face he saw the last time. That was an elegant house. So there was a retired general, not Gestapo or SS, some soldier of the Wehrmacht, as a gentleman. He introduced himself, clicked his heels to my mother, and he was elegant and clean, and they could speak about Beethoven, about the great German culture, etc. And then the 17th of January 45, 5:10 in the afternoon, Soviet soldiers arrived. And that's the fact. They were not elegant at all. They had a rather bad uniform, and they really were dirty. Dirty they were. So I had to understand, and did, that the elegant, clean, cultured one is not only the enemy, but he represents some satanic, bloody power. And they, who are this, they are the liberators. It meant something good. And when he did not work, then he played on his accordion. He had an accordion. I think even it was not correctly played, but what it was Nabiri Katyusha. And for me, Katyusha is an anthem, a hymn. So whenever I hear, until today, I had to discipline my muscles not to stand up, because when you hear the hymn, then you stand up. And Katyusha is forever for me, something like that. Step by step, to see the same uniform and understand it in a different way. That time I did not feel that they were liberators. So it was